Okay, hello, Jonah.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Album Check. This week we're talking about Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish.
New album.
So, this is her sophomore album, her follow up to. Is it Where Do We Go When We Fall Asleep?
Other way around. When we all
Oh,
fall asleep, where do we go?
sorry.
We've killed any remaining credibility.
So, you have to say, we were both fans of that album.
Yeah. I wasn't expected to like it as much as I did when I first heard it, and I was quite pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, no, it's a really great debut. I mean, it's one that I keep revisiting every now and again. Bad Guy is a bop.
So much fun.
Yeah, so there was a lot of hype. At least I was excited for this album.
hmm Yeah,
Especially
this was a big release. Like she said, it was coming out ages ago.
see we've been getting singles for the last year. I think My Future dropped like last year, like this time
Oh
around this
my
time last year.
gosh, that was still pandemic, bro.
We're still in the pandemic.
Yeah, no, it's just like time is weird
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's crazy.
Um, we had a couple of those singles drop, and then we finally got the album reveal. March, May.
I think it was like 2 months ago.
It's been a long rollout time.
Yeah,
Like frustratingly long. But yeah, she's like completely changed her look. Obviously, she was kind of iconic for the green and black hair, which is really cool.
looked awesome.
Then she unveils like this album. She's gone like completely blonde. It has a completely different aesthetic.
Yeah, it's like a complete shift. It's like the opposite end of the spectrum. So,
Which I don't know about you, that really excited me.
yeah,
I really like it whenever artists kind of reinvent themselves for new
yeah.
projects.
It's not just the music; it's everything around it. Yeah,
And yeah, just visually, whenever we got the album cover and the title, I mean, the album cover is just beautiful in my
it's
opinion.
really cool.
Everything is in that kind of gold beige kind of gradient.
The just the hair too.
Mm,
It like matches it so well. Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah, shall we get into what we thought about it? Because I have
Yeah,
a lot of strong opinions.
strong opinions.
I don't
Okay.
know about you. I'm excited. It's interesting because this came out a week and a half ago from time of recording, and obviously we haven't spoken about it. I know generally you were positive.
Well, there was a lot riding on this album because we paid a lot of money for tickets, so this
That's true.
this had
Yeah,
to be this had to be good,
this
and
is true.
it's it's really quite good. It's not amazing, but it's like I'm satisfied
Mm,
personally.
yeah, I would. It's a decent album. It does enough as a follow up.
Just based on that, I think I might be slightly more positive than you, but yeah, I
Let's
think
get
you
into the
just
first one. So it starts with like getting older, which
oh,
I love so much
this
as
is
an intro.
such a well written song. Like, oh my god.
It's just a perfect tone setter,
Mm,
because when you think of Billie Eilish, obviously there are kind of slower songs on the last album, but you do kind of associate her with the big hits, with
mm.
Bad Guy, with You Should See Me in a Crown. I really do like that it starts with just such a slow and self-reflective
Uh-huh.
song. That warble sound that it often carries out.
Well, they're like the pulsating
Yeah.
synth thing. Yeah, it's weird that like it carries on for a long time and it's basically just that sound, and it still maintains my interest,
No, it
which is
does that
really
really,
really
really
cool.
well, and it's surprising because that is such a main part of it. That this song is quite sparse. There's not a huge amount going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really a lot of it is just the warble in her voice, but it just makes it sound so intimate.
Mm-hmm. Building on that, what you're saying about it being intimate, the lyrics on this are just so good. Like I feel like I'm just kind of listing off what's the word? Not trigger words, like
Buzzwords.
buzzwords. Oh my god, I spent so long trying to think of that word earlier, and you got it in a second. But like, just so unfiltered and just personal and kind of reflective. It's astonishing To
I
be
mean,
honest,
it's interesting because obviously she's 19. She's similar age to us.
she's younger than I. Struggle to get out of bed in the morning, and she's out here making like filling out stadiums and stuff.
Just don't think about it, Jonah. We've got our podcast, okay? Hi, Jonah's mom.
Hi, mom.
But yeah, look, it's interesting. The first line obviously is "I'm getting older," and which is weird because obviously like really young, but is growing up in the public eye. And I might be talking beans here, but I feel like our generation is a little more self-reflective in that regards, just because of social media.
Wait, so
You know what I mean?
self-reflective in what regard?
How like youth slips away.
Okay,
we
yeah.
because on like Facebook and things, it's like this time a year ago, and it's
And you're like, oh, that was a year.
you're constantly reminded of
Uh-huh.
the past and the present rather than
Yeah, that's
being
true.
present.
I hadn't thought of that. And especially like when she's so much in the public image, she'll be bombarded with content like that, like constantly, you know?
Yeah, it's a really nice start to the album. I like the theme. I like how it sounds, and there's a wee like xylophone in the background, like as it
Xylophone.
progresses. Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
I don't know, because I would associate a xylophone as like a childlike instrument.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a child just kind of hitting on it, and it makes noise, and it's you don't need.
Oh yeah, like I guess that kind of links into getting older.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I thought that was just a nice wee thing in the background. But yeah, this song got me really excited for the rest of the album.
mm-hmm. I think verse 2 on here is probably one of the best verses she's ever written. Like it's just so kind of blunt. Like last week I realized I crave pity. When I retell a story, I make everything sound worse. Like you have to be very self aware to write that, and then to actually say it.
Hmm.
A lot, sure, a lot of people might think it, but very few would say it. She does.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's honest. It's mature.
That like can't shake the feeling that I'm just bad at healing. Every sentence sounds rehearsed. Like that's the kind of she's taking a long hard look at herself in the mirror, you know. And yeah, it really it pays off completely.
Sets the tone excellently. But when I get into the second song, I didn't change my number, which I don't know. How do you feel about this one?
I really like it.
Oh, I fucking hate it.
No, why?
It is boring as hell.
No, it's not.
I hate
Oh,
that like synth lead in the background, or it's not even in the background. It's like the main driving sound, and it bores the hell out of me. It's so repetitive, annoying.
I have love the glitchy synth written down.
I hate
It's
it.
like the complete opposite. No, this song has just like so much attitude to me. Like with the dogs barking and her slight it's not aggressive delivery because obviously she's got a soft voice. But just the lyrics, the delivery, the kind of super rigid beat and the sort of nasty sounding synths.
No, it like stutters throughout. Really bothers me. I don't like the dogs at the start. I
What?
mean,
Fair enough.
I don't like the lyrics. I don't like that. I changed who I believe in. I think is a little bit cringe.
Okay, yeah. Maybe a
Um,
little bit.
it just coming off of like getting older and then just takes such a sharp dive down. It does have that like really cool warbly bit at the end.
Oh yeah, I
Where
was
it, like,
literally gonna ask you about that because I thought you'd hate it.
see, I kind of like it, but I kept thinking every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, this sounds like something Kanye would make interesting.
Maybe yeah.
You
I
know what I
can,
mean?
especially on the last album, I hear like Jesus on there. Like she definitely she definitely likes it. I enjoy this one a lot. I think that I didn't change my number lyric or the I didn't change my number. I only changed who I replied to lyric is really cool. Um, and the delivery, you know the line "and your best friend too."
That is delivered very
The
well. I
like
like that.
oh she goes really high pitched.
It's very playful the way that one's said. Yeah, I do enjoy
Hmm.
that. but I don't know. Just for me, it's just a dud on the second track. It's too early to be.
That's a oof. Fair enough. I disagree, but I respect it.
I'd cut it.
And cut it entirely.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, we'll get into that, the cuts later.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have some thoughts on that too. And Billy Bossa Nova.
Right. So I wasn't aware of bossa nova music before until like a few days ago.
Yeah, neither. I thought it was like a fashion brand, to be
See,
honest.
I thought, now I kind of like my version better. So it turns out bossa nova is like a Brazilian kind of. It's like whenever I heard it, I was like, oh, this is like the kind of stereotypical like cafe music or whatever you hear, some kind of Brazilian guitar-y music. Initially, I was like, oh, this sounds that guitar at the start sounds so much like the latest Strokes album. You hear that?
Do I hear? No, I don't hear that even a little bit.
I don't know, just that little guitar, but I don't know. It reminded me of parts of the piercing lines in the Strokes. But yeah, I thought bossa nova was like a play on Casanova, as in the famous womanizer guy.
Okay.
And they should just taking that and being like, I'm a bossa nova.
Oh, yeah.
And so, obviously the song is quite seductive. But I thought it was playing on the Casanova womanizer thing.
Okay.
But no, it's just the type of music. She was making a bossa nova type of song.
Yeah. I saw Fantano said in his review like he was disappointed because it was just like it was literally just a bossa nova song and she didn't really add anything to it. I'm not familiar enough with the genre to say that I like it. I don't love it. Guitar's nice, gorgeous voice again, nice lyrics. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I really like this one. I mean, it sounds kind of like mysterious. So it does.
Yeah.
That guitar throughout it. Again, I also wasn't familiar with bossa nova, so it just sounded kind of cool and interesting to me rather than derivative. And yeah, this is a bit of a strange comment, but I really like the "better lock your phone" line, because I think it's because like so much of commentary on phone usage by like old people,
it's sort of overbearing and
well, they don't get it. Do you remember that documentary, that Netflix one? What was it called?
Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma, yeah. And it's like talking about like the problems with like the youth and phones.
Yeah, it's like they lock the phones in the jar and the kids like turn as little crackheads. They're like they need them.
They like they seem to treat it as if like children are addicted to phones, as if it's like crack, where it's more like it's just convenience. It's like a pacifier. You just pick it up because it's easy. It just kind of
makes you feel safe.
Stops you don't bother doing anything else because you're entertained by. Yeah, so I don't know, just the lock your phone line I just like because it's kind of the reality of it. It's just when you're with someone, everyone's been there where you're like at a party or with people and you're on your phone and not actually socializing or engaging with someone.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just nice seeing a person who actually understands it.
The pre-chorus is probably catchier than the chorus, which is kind of weird. The "I'm not sentimental." But there's something about the way you look tonight. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, the delivery again. It's so, I already used this word, but it's like it's seductive. It's sensual. The whole line about using different names at hotel check-ins.
What do you feel like? We're 3 songs in, and we've had a lot of stylistic shifts already. Does that bother you?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more as it goes along. I feel like again the Fantano review kind of hit the nail on the head at the end when he described it as being scattershot, and yeah, it's bouncing around here.
Like, to me, the album, I don't know why it still has a good flow to it. It possibly could have done with feeling a bit more sonically consistent. No, damn, that's like it never feels like a song comes on. I'm like, oh, this isn't the vibe I want to hear after hearing that last one.
Oh, I have a hard disagree. I mean, we'll get into that when we get to them,
okay.
but hard disagree.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
move on to
look, my future, which is the next one. It's not. It doesn't feel so super out of place coming from the last one, but again, I really wish this song wasn't on the album.
Wait, what? Hold on, really?
Yeah,
I think this fits in so well.
I think it can. I think it would work better without it. Now, part of the reason is because this was released like a year ago, so
True.
which I think is part of my problem with it, which is a personal one, in the sense that I already sort of have a relationship with the song that is disconnected from the album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that bothering you. I don't think I listened to it enough to have that, but yeah.
But it's one because I have a memory of it from, lockdown of last year. No, and that the other problem with it is, I don't think it's that great a song as well.
What, bro? What? Seriously?
It's good. It's good.
Okay, yeah, it's not amazing, but I'd say it's great. Like, it's a 8 out of 10 song for me.
Look, I could never make anything as good as that. I'm not like but
okay, Connor, you go make a massive album then.
But it takes a while to get going. You know what I mean? Whenever it's like
the
a minute
payoff,
40.
The payoff.
I do. Whenever
so
you get the drums
good.
kicking and that like groovy guitar line, yeah, I'll give you it. That's really, really good.
First half, like lyrically, is much more somber, and then it becomes much more bright and optimistic as the drums come in and you get some energy into it. I think it works really well. It completely sustains its runtime, and thematically, I think this fits in like perfectly to that album.
Yeah, I mean, she's talking about loving herself, but I don't know. I just think there's some fat on this album, and this could I could lose it.
There is fat on this album, but I wouldn't take this one out personally. Like, there's that lyric. It's like, I'm supposed to be with someone, but aren't I someone? That's a great line. This says a lot with very little. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't take this one off, but agree to disagree.
Yeah, fair enough.
What's next?
Right,
this is gonna be an interesting one to talk about.
This is when I'm like all aboard this one. This is great.
It is awesome.
I mean, I'm desperate to hear this live.
Yeah. See if the bass isn't right when we see it live. Oh, I'm gonna be angry. Like it has to be just right.
I mean, there's a lot of like deep, bassy, bouncy songs in this album, but this just that like intro, when it all comes in and it's just so deep and bassy, and I want to jump to this.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Lyrically, it's interesting.
It's getting a little
frisky.
A little frisky, a little NSFW.
Just a little yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't have a lot of notes on the lyrics, because I know people who are gonna listen to this podcast, so that would be weird. But yeah, it's the production on this is like nuts. It's so that like raw percussion loop that comes in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the bass line is like so saturated and deep, and just that nasty synth arp. Nasty is the exact word I wanted to use to describe that. Like when it on the final kind of outro bit where it comes in hard.
Oh, it all builds up so well.
Oh my gosh. Like it really hits.
Oh, it's done so well, and then it's in a way kind of contrast her vocals are just so kind of breathy, and it's like in one big exhale, which again just kind of makes it more.
Oh, on the chorus, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like her voice sounds like sharp, and it's just the whole song sounds like metallic and just really, really textured. It's fantastic.
At times, she's like so close to the microphone, and it's like panned right in your ears. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it just feels really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just gives this album like a sort of like dark underbelly to the whole thing. Yeah, great song. I love this one so much. This is when the album really kind of starts to make it
Get
for
into a
me.
groove. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
Um.
okay, like before I'm like, oh, some hits, some misses, but this
See,
is like, okay.
see the lull period is still coming for me. But we'll get there. Goldwing.
Oh,
This is right. I feel like this is gonna be like a kind of a low key one on the album. Like it won't be remembered for this
mm,
one, but this is like, oh, I love this.
this is maybe top 1 or 2 songs.
On of her discography or this
Yeah,
album. That yeah, no, I'm not
both.
sure. Maybe I would agree with that. It's ooh the religious sounding intro.
Yes, you get this kind of choir. Now, I kind of wish the choir had been chopped into its own separate track, and it made it more of like an interlude
Okay,
thing.
yeah,
Because it
fair.
is kind of an interlude into the song, but it's
Yeah,
all in its one track. Whereas it would have
yeah.
been nice to be able to listen to the two, click on the two on your streaming service of choice and
Mhm.
get one or the other.
Yeah.
But oh, it's so yeah, you get that the choir, and she sings Goldwing in it, and then they take that part of her singing Goldwing and chop it up and use it
Oh,
for the rest of the song, and
y-
it's it's genius.
they don't just like uh, loop the same bit over and over again though. Like the points where the volume drops out on it,
Mm-hmm.
where it's gated, that changes on each loop, so it stays interesting the whole time. And the drums are super simple, so you're just focused on the rhythm of the vocal chop. Like, oh, it's fantastic production.
I
This
mean,
is
the
really
the
great.
drum machine is just kind of like punching
Uh-huh.
on
Yeah.
this, and yeah, I mean, this is kind of the genius of it for me is like everything on the production side is just so on beat, so repetitive with kind of robotic precision,
Mm-hmm.
and like chorus, it's about kind of keeping your head down and not standing out and not
Da,
drawing
da,
attention to yourself.
da, na,
Yeah,
na, da. That's
you know,
so catchy.
but having the chorus be about not standing out, and then having everything surrounding that be so like repetitive. I just think it's a really clever way of using music to kind of reinforce your point.
Yeah.
I think it's I love it, and
It
like
just sounds
the
so
chorus
cool and
so good.
mysterious and just oh, this is the one. We like this one.
Yeah, I can't. I could go on about this one forever. You know, gonna claim you like a souvenir just to sell you in a year, and then like that like
Mm-hmm.
leads into the chorus,
Yeah, like it's great.
and it's that it's really quite it's one of the shorter at least when it
Yeah,
really gets into the actual song, so it leaves me wanting more.
but yeah, it's like sweet short. It's not like, oh, I want more. It's like, oh, I just got enough, and it's like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's great.
Yeah, no, one of my favorites.
Now we hit the sort of lull period for me.
Oh, you don't
Um,
like Lost Cause?
I do. Um, I liked it more when I heard it as a single. In the album, I don't think the production is as good as the rest of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just a bit. I'm sort of middle of the road on it. It's fine. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an awful lot to say on it, but I really like it. I love the layering on the vocals. I love the theme, but some guy that's just not worth the effort anymore, can't be saved.
There are
Um,
some really really good lines on here. Like, was it? I
I
used
think
to
you're
think,
such an outlaw. Is
yeah,
I
but
love that.
you don't have a job, and what was the one? I used to think you were shy, but maybe you just had nothing on your mind. Like, rip to that guy. That is like evil to say.
Burn.
Yeah, like, can you imagine being that guy and hearing that? You just be like, ow, I have feelings too, you know? Um, yeah, the the production on this, that bass and the drums, they don't really carry it for me.
Mm-hmm.
When on the chorus, when you get some more sort of instrumentation, I can vibe with it a bit more, but it's a bit too stripped back for me, and I don't really like the choice of bass sound, personally.
I mean, fair enough. I didn't have those issues. I enjoy those sounds. I think the chorus is really catchy.
Yeah,
I
it
love
is.
how when it comes in and it kind of how it builds to it. Yeah, but apart from that, I don't have very much to say. It's a good song.
Then Haley's Comet, meh, meh.
Yeah, this one grew on me.
It did. Explain.
Like we've mentioned before, there's a lot of fat on this album, so this might be
A lot of fat. There's fat. I would say a lot.
this might be heresy, but I created a playlist where I cut out a number of songs,
And did you think it flowed better?
and I think the album flows a lot better.
Okay, you're doing Billy's job for her now. All right.
And on my cut version of it, this one sits much better, as because it makes it one of the fewer slower songs. I mean, I think the piano is just really nice. It's really soft, and well, it sounds expensive. I bet you that piano is like.
That's true. Yeah, no, I find the piano sort of boring. Doesn't do much for me. I can barely even think of it in my head.
Mhm.
Like right now, it's just like the outro bit. It's a lot nicer because you get a sort of weirdly distorted piano sound and her like strange vocal effect, but like throughout the main body of the song just does not do much for me.
See, again, on my version where I've cut it, I put Haley's Comet and follow it by Your Power, and the end of the outro bit on Haley's Comet talks about the whole "I think I'm in love" thing, and then transitioning from that into the themes of Your Power, it just flows really really well in my opinion. And whenever I did that, it kind of it bothered me going back and not having it flow that way. Again, I really like that little outro. I feel like similar to Goldwing, I wish it was kind of sectioned into its own wee separate track.
It just the outro bit sounds so much more interesting to me than the main body.
Fair enough.
And just like lyrically, I don't think she's doing anything else. So this is just kind of like a very very standard Billy style song. Like if you asked an AI to generate a Billy song, I feel like it would do something like this.
I feel like that's a little harsh.
Really? Like she's just singing softly over a piano. The lyrics aren't that great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with the lyrics. The lyrics leave more to be desired. I mean, I haven't slept since Sunday, midnight for me, 3 a.m. for you. But yeah, I enjoy it. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, nah. Nah.
So, not my responsibility. This is a spoken word track that is like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
About her talking about, how people look at her, about her opinions, her body. Apparently, this was played a few times during live as part of like the live performance.
That could work.
Yes.
That could work. It does not need to be on the album, which will become even more clear when we get onto the next track.
Again, on the album that I've said several times now has bloat, this just stops the whole thing dead in its tracks. It just kills all momentum.
Yeah.
While as what she's saying is kind of important and interesting. The one thing an album has to do, the one thing an album has to do is sound good, and I just skip this every time because it doesn't sound good. It's not interesting to listen to, and I didn't enjoy it the first time, and which just made repeat listens even worse. Yeah, I hate this.
Yeah, this should have been isolated to the live performance, definitely.
Yeah, it could work in a show, but not on the album.
Then okay, right. So we listened to that instrumental for like 3.5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I should note that there's this ambient instrumental in the background,
which is kind of cool. Like,
fine.
yeah, it's fine. The same instrumental carries on into Overheated, which is the Overheated basically continues the exact same themes, but at least it sounds good. So it's like, what, I don't know why Not My Responsibility needs to be on there.
But then
If this is
Overheated just
here,
has the baggage of
mm.
well, what you've heard.
Yeah,
So you're already sick of it, and then it just keeps going. I feel like I would like Overheated a lot more
mm-hmm.
if it didn't do that. But Overheated isn't a great song for me to begin with, so to have that on it as well just really ruins it.
I think in isolation, I enjoy this one quite a bit. Not like hugely, but it's a good song to me. Like that chorus is undeniable. That's catchy.
I don't know. It's just the rhymes are kind of boring. The part where I really start to enjoy it is that bit where it switches the flow up and it kind of goes a little faster, and that everybody said it was a letdown.
Yeah, that bridge is really good.
Yeah, that kind of I get into it, but I don't know. I feel like there's like a lot of potential here that just didn't coalesce into something that I enjoy.
That's fair.
You know,
I enjoy the like glitchy drums, and like I think they work really well with the ambient instrumentation you were talking about, and this sort of like it almost sounds like synthesized chants, like slow
I didn't
chants.
notice that.
Sounds really cool to me. And the synth in the outro sounds. I can't describe it. It sounds like it's rotating. I don't mean in terms of panning. Just that's the vibe it gives me. I think it sounds super cool. It's a good song in isolation, but it's very much weighed down by the previous one.
Again, I feel like this is the type of song you'd put on a deluxe edition.
I wouldn't say that, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I would cut it. Cut.
Conor says cut. So that's just how it's gonna be.
Sorry, Miss Eilish.
Yes, I'm sure she's waiting around for your opinion, Conor, while she bathes in her several $1 million
I'm glad she doesn't,
wealth.
because I'd feel really bad, actually. Can you imagine? Like, it would be really horrible. As much as I think criticism is important, but anyway.
Everybody dies. Dud.
I mean, I like parts of it. I sort of like the theme. I think only because it's not very insightful, but I think everyone's kind of had that experience of kind of lying in bed, kind of realizing their immortality and thinking about their immortality. So I can.
But why does this doesn't tie in thematically on the album with the whole like abuse thing and the fame thing and the breakup thing? It's just like it's so weird now to play. I honestly can't hear the song in my head right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's forgettable. Especially with Halley's Comet already having a kind of really slow song just a couple tracks before it just makes Everybody Dies feel even more redundant.
The piano's sort of cool because it sounds textured, but just it doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, I mean, again, her singing is great, but gives it the necessary emotion, but just doesn't enough to carry it. Yeah, Dad would cut.
Okay, now it picks up again. Now we get a really, really, really good stretch.
See,
play.
No, it does. Sorry, it does. Just but play Halley's Comet into your power, and it flows so much better than.
Okay, I'll try that afterwards.
Than what we just had from My Responsibility onwards, because your power. This was the first single that we knew for the album.
Yeah.
And when I initially heard it, I wasn't huge, but it really grew on me.
This is great. That guitar is blissful.
Yeah, I mean, you got
that main chorus loop is just like sugar to my ears.
I think you got two guitars. You got one strumming and one plucking with your fingers. And yeah, it's just a really good riff, and her voice is just beautiful. I love like how during the verse the strumming becomes almost like percussive.
Yeah, like the sort of it sort of hands the melody over to her and steps back a little bit.
Yeah,
while it plays the chords. And this is a dark song. Like relationship power dynamics, and it's like it quite clearly must have been written from experience, which is immensely depressing.
Yeah, I mean, there's the real with any relationship, to a certain extent giving the other person a certain level of power, because suddenly your decisions and their decisions don't just impact themselves or you, and yeah, like you do have the ability to hurt someone else if you aren't careful, and yeah, clearly that happened here, and it's just a really, really well written.
Like there's the heartbreaking line. She was sleeping in your clothes, but now she's got to get to class. That's like it says a lot. It's kind of, you can infer what it's saying there. This is just really dark lyrics.
Yeah, it's like it was my fault. You were the devil.
Yeah, like wow, that's messed up. I enjoyed this one immensely.
And again, this is one that really does tie into that happier than ever theme, which we haven't really talked about too much, but there is kind of a at parts an inconsistent theme of some sort of relationship or something going wrong and getting over it, and being both kind of heartbroken, but
dealing with that in the midst of being 19 and one of the most recognizable faces in music right now.
Yeah,
it's that amalgamate, or that combination of things, is sort of the main theme of the album.
And when it does that, it's really interesting, and it does that really well in this song.
Absolutely.
And it flows so well. Oh, sorry, no, I'm mixing it up. I'm sorry, it's not this one. NDA is the next one.
Tut tut tut.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Bro, Fantano said NDA was the worst one on the album.
It's so good.
He's wrong.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Wrong. So it's very common in music, again, in rap, for artists to make their songs about the struggles of being famous.
And
here we get, and there's references to that on other songs, but yeah, we really get that here with NDA. But I really love that it's called that, and I really love the unique perspective of tying up the weird problems of being famous in a non-disclosure agreement about having to any kind of relationship you have with someone, you need to make them sign a contract to
like
ensure they can't say anything.
The image of like her having this secret house just to get privacy, having a guy over, and then on his way out, she's like, "Here, you gotta have this NDA." That's the like top tier imagery right there.
Yeah, it's just a really weird and unique angle to like take it from, and I really like that part of it.
Yeah, production wise, this is so good. Those were like, it sort of creeps me out a little bit. The production, like those
crawling at the start.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then when those bright plucks come in, they give me goosebumps. I like them, and just oh my gosh, the chorus is like huge. There's massive claps. The auto tune, perfect use of auto tune.
There's been people like canceling her or what's the word? I don't know, saying she's bad because she used auto tune in this song, and it's like, no, it's done so well. It's done like purposefully.
I will stand by auto tune till I die. I absolutely love the way it sounds.
Yeah, no, it's great. And she clearly doesn't need it. It's done, with intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love how big it sounds. Love, again, the pulsating and the bass.
The heavy Yeezus vibes for me. Just more primarily on the chorus, like you get that bass R. Yeah, it's and of course the auto tune. Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, it's great song. Again, it ties in the themes of the album and has like such a great ending with builds to it, and then the way it ties into Therefore I Am.
The transition is
it just
great.
Flows perfectly in, and gotta love it when songs do that.
Yeah, we heard this one. When did we hear this one?
This was like a year ago as well. This was after My Future, I think.
Oh yeah, this wasn't advertised as a single for this initially. Of course, yeah.
Which there were too many singles for this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think because
we'd like heard like a third of the album by the time it came out,
which it's too much, too much.
And she'd like teased other bits on like TikTok and stuff. Like if you kept up with that, which I didn't, then
You
You know.
kind of cool, Jonah.
Yeah.
How did you know she was teasing stuff on TikTok then, huh?
Because I found out when researching for this.
Oh, okay.
um.
Jonah does homework.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so much fun. This one. It's got that much more attitude. That sort of bleeds over from the last album a bit more.
There's like a little bit of swagger to it.
Mm.
You know, that again, there's another song that's really bouncy, but it has such like confidence to it.
Mm-hmm. Like the stop, what the hell are you talking about? And then you get the little like, ha, at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
And again, you know, the stop and everything stops. I love it whenever, you know, artists command the instrumentation around them with their voice.
I know this is sort of off topic. The music video for this, why do they feel the need to do that thing where they like stop the music for like a minute?
Oh, I hate that.
It's like, why? But that's neither here nor there. The percussion on this is so fun. It's just weird. Like the sounds they chose, there's like you got your standard kick and snare, but there's other strange sounds going on in the background. I don't even know what they are. And like the chorus, obviously you've got her main lead vocal, but there's like a growly pitched down version of it underneath. It sounds really, really cool. Adds to the attitude a lot.
I mean, just love that I think therefore I am on the delivery of it.
Yeah, and she's just talking about someone she thinks is insignificant. And it's like you wouldn't want to be that person.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, goddamn. Rather you remain unremarkable. When they say your name, I just act confused. Like, flip me.
I love the whispering.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it does that when it comes in. This is probably the closest thing to anything we got in the last album, but yeah.
Sorry, just before we move on, on the final chorus, she also lets the auto tune rip with like these backing vocals. Love it, awesome. Keep using auto tune; it's amazing.
And then we get Happier Than Ever.
Oh,
which is just like,
This,
I mean,
where do I start with this? Because obviously, you want to start with I gravitate towards the shift the midway through, but
I mean, look, no, I'll start with my minor criticism. No, the Billie in the guitar is great. It's lovely. I love it. There's I could have done without all like the backing vocal stuff in it.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know what it is about it.
It because the singing and the guitar makes it sound like just kind of girl in her room sort of thing. And
that's it.
And there's a really intimate imperfect vibe for it, which is really nice, especially in contrast to what comes later. But those backing vocals just make it sound a little too produced, and really kind of take away from that homemade part of it. It's a minor thing, but you know, it doesn't ruin it for me. I still think this is one of the one or two best songs in the album.
I think this is one of the best songs she's ever done. Like, her vocals, they're just gorgeous. They sound like they're floating, gliding. Love it.
And just the you know, the Happier Than Ever as a theme, as an idea, as a line.
Yeah,
I love.
And her lead vocal melody is just so sugary sweet, and so is the guitar. It just they complement each other really, really well. And then we get the switch. I want to talk about the switch. I can't not talk about the switch. Bro, she belts. When have we ever heard her do that before?
It's so well done, because this is placed, you know, at the end of the album. I'm just so impressed with how it switches between the two, because you get that kind of, it sounds like it's like
transitional period.
It sounds like, you know, the final chord, and then just kind of you're like, and you're done. You only get the end of like a fourth chord, you're like, you're done. But then it just kind of,
it's resolved.
Yeah, it's resolved. That's the word. And then it keeps going, and I made a thing once where I tried to transition between using two different songs, different lines from fast to slow. I found that really quite difficult to do. So
was it between two different songs?
Yeah.
Were they in the
very
same
different
key?
styles? No.
Okay, yeah, that would be why that was hard. But that's neither here nor there.
but I don't know. I found that hard to do, so I was just very impressed with how well it was. It was done here.
I am absolute sucker for, Like when I'm making beats, I have to restrain myself so much from putting a beat switch in every single song. I love them. But yeah, no, it's like it sounds sort of MCR-ish to me.
Yeah, that's right. So just for context, I'm a big emo in terms of I love My Chemical Romance and I love like Paramore, all that like 2000s pop punk stuff, and this just fits in right there, and I love it so much for that.
I didn't know she had the vocal range for this, but she absolutely kills it. The drums on this, like heavily distorted snares, are blissful. The kick sounds massive, and like the rhythms on this album are very very rigid. There's like you get some syncopated drum movement here. Oh, love it so much.
It's just explosive.
Yeah, explosive.
She's screaming
You
fuck.
Made Me Hate This City is a god. The delivery of that is god tier.
Yeah, there's just so much force behind it. Oh, I just love this kind of angry pop punk guitar. The guitars are so distorted. Yeah,
It's
this
just like
this
a
just
wall of sound.
it's also because just was not expecting this at all.
No, not even a little
So
bit. The like just a heartbreaking lyrics on here. Like you call me again, drunk in your Benz, driving home under the influence. You scared me to death, but I'm wasting my breath because you only listen to your fucking friends. Like, oh my god, she's just like tearing this this guy a new one.
and it just the end feels so climactic. And you get it all distorted at the end, and it just has this great resolved feeling, and you're like, oh, what an ending.
And you feel like the album's over, and then it's not. Thank God, because the next song is chills.
No.
No, 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 no.
Why did they do this? They had like the perfect ending, and they're like another one, and it's like what?
No, I love
it's still going.
I love that it reins it back in. I
No,
love that.
no, hard disagree. It bothered me so much, like because it like Male Fantasy. It's a pretty decent song. I like the song.
This is
But
great.
it just completely undercuts the strength of the ending of Happier Than Ever. It would have apparently it was supposed to just end with Happier Than Ever.
Yeah.
She said they wrote this next song and didn't want it to like end the album to end on a hateful and angered note. And I was like, no, leave it there. When you have because it's the title of the fucking album too, so it just makes so much sense. And then it just keeps going.
No,
Ugh.
I love this one a lot. I think it gives you an idea of where Billy's at now after the whole ordeal of this messy relationship. Sounds gorgeous. The guitar is lovely, especially because you can hear, presumably Phineas playing it like beating on the body of the guitar as he plays it. I think it sounds amazing lyrically. I think this one is fantastic, and yeah, I think this is a really great closer.
See, it's not a bad song. It's a bad closer. Bad closer.
Mm.
Well, I mean, it would be a good closer if we didn't just have the previous song, which just did feel like such an ending. I know I'm repeating myself here. I like how on this one it doesn't have the kind of backing vocals. On this one, it is more quiet in that way. Yeah, I don't have much to say apart from that.
Verse 1 is crushing, which is talking about like male fantasy projected in pornography. I think that links in super well with the theme of the abusive relationship throughout the album. And verse 2, she's talking about she got a call from a girl she used to know a couple years ago. Blah blah blah. Is she talking about herself?
I didn't get that
because I don't know if it feels like she's sort of because obviously she talks about growing up on this album. I feel like she's sort of saying she's losing touch with the way she used to be. I could be reading too much into that, but yeah, it annoys me slightly that like sonically, this song ends unresolved.
Yeah,
The outro,
it just kind of
like
ends.
like the final chord, it doesn't sound like it's the right the right chord. That sort of annoys me. But otherwise, I'm very very stoked that this is the closer and not the previous song.
I couldn't disagree more. But only one of us. It'd be boring if we both had the right opinion.
Indeed, it would. Yeah. So, do you have summary thoughts?
Look, there is a good album in here. There's a lot of good songs, but it's bloated. I feel like this is an instance where, you know, I heard a quote recently, and it's like something is done not when you're asking yourself, what more do I need to add, but when is there nothing else to take away? And I feel like they really could have should have killed their darlings here and been a little more ruthless in cutting out some tracks.
Yeah, I think our general difference in opinions, you'd probably cut out more tracks than me. But yeah, I would agree with that sentiment, just not quite to the same extent.
I created a playlist and I cut out Didn't Change My Number, My Future, Not My Responsibility, Overheated, Everybody Dies, and Male Fantasy. And
that's 6 songs. That's a lot.
It cuts it down to 36 minutes. And I think if you go through and listen, now the songs on there that I've cut that I like, but I feel like in terms of making the album a more cohesive whole, I think if you go through and listen to it that way and look at all the songs and think, how do these relate to the overall theme of the album, I think it works stronger with those cuts.
Yeah,
I'd be interesting to see how you feel about that.
The ones that I'd cut out would also be in that list, but there's a few that I'd leave. I'd leave in Male Fantasy. Did you cut Overheated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd keep in Overheated. Otherwise, I'd mostly agree. So, if I'm saying cut a quarter of the album, this feels like a sort of a 7 out of 10 to me, if I had to summarize it with the number.
Yeah, strong 6, light 7.
Okay.
I feel like I've been very harsh, because there's a lot to like here. You know, and
if she plays the right songs live, it's gonna be such a good concert, and presumably she'll play some older stuff too.
Yeah, no, I'm still really excited to see her. I'm excited to hear some of the stuff live. I'm excited to see what she does next.
Yeah, like I really don't know. She's with this complete stylistic shift. I feel like she's kind of world's her oyster now. We'll see. She's got a long way to go, I think.
Well, that's us for now. I think we've agreed that next week we're gonna do Sparks.
Sparks, yes.
We're gonna do Little Beethoven.
Kanye's not dropping. He's not
dropping. Yeah, Kanye was supposed to drop.
We've heard it twice. Where is it?
Kanye was supposed to drop, but hasn't. So we would have been talking about that had it dropped, but maybe next time, Jonah, it'll have. that could be an amusing ongoing gag. What about the end of every podcast episode? It's not even
a gag anymore. It's just
end of every episode. We're like, next week, Donda. But every time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening. I guess.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.